welcome back to the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. Today, we are showcasing a set that I like to call the Great American Road Trip. And we are taking a trip from coast to coast, exploring gorgeous, gorgeous salt and pepper shaker sets that are unique to each individual state. So, in this set today, we have 6 different sets of salt and pepper shakers. That could be yours for the low price of $19.99. Can't beat it. Now, I do want to go through each individual set and give you a closer look at some of the details and let you know which state that you could be collecting as part of this 6-piece salt and pepper shaker set. So, starting off on the East Coast, we want to showcase this gorgeous Virginia Beach beautiful salt and pepper shaker set. Now, here you will see we've got a wonderful graphic on the front, and it is a picture of a colorful purple, blue, and a little bit of a teal color theme for this shell, and it says on the bottom, Virginia Beach. So, now this is an interesting shape for a salt and pepper shaker, but you know what I love about it is that it has the sturdy base. Look at that. And for this set here, to know which one is salt and pepper, all you gotta do is look at the top. There's a giant hole in this one, and that shows you that it's the salt dispenser. And then this one has 2 holes, letting you know that it is for pepper. Now, with a set like this, I feel like this is kind of an all-year-round set. It gives you that feeling of being at the beach, the Virginia beach, but with this beautiful motif of a large scallop shell. And on the side here we have a starfish and a conch on this side as well, and then kind of a scattered design on the top here, which kind of is reminiscent of a like being in the sand. So, Virginia Beach, beautiful salt and pepper shaker set number 1 of 6. 5 more to go, folks. Can you believe it? So beautiful. Now, I would say moving down south, not too far away from Virginia, we have a really, really special set in this collection. This one you're going to want to bring out for the Kentucky Derby, because we have a beautiful, is this pewter? I don't remember. Let me see what it says. Gorgeous set here, where it is 2 tea sets, 2 teapots, and they are sitting on this delightful, beautiful ornate caddy. Let me take this off so you can see. Have you ever seen anything so beautiful? This caddy is, it's almost like a miniature version of a beautiful serving plate. It has beautiful ornate details where you've got this textured part on the bottom here, and then going off to the side, you have the handles that have this beautiful, almost like filigree, I don't know what that's called, but just ornate design. And then on the top and the bottom, that same sort of pattern as well. Now, what's always important to me is, you don't just have your salt and pepper hanging out anywhere on the table, right? No, you always want to have a place where guests know, where do I put the salt and pepper? It goes on the caddy. Look at that. This is just too elegant almost, but I did want to include it because it says here, Kentucky, and there is a little horse. Can you zoom in on this, Kevin, please? There is a horse, beautiful detail horse on that design right there. Now, I tell you what, if you were to place a bet on these salt and pepper shakers, you'd come out on top. But, you know, no horse races or betting here. You just have that same feeling of the elegance and excitement of being at the Kentucky Derby with this Kentucky salt and pepper shaker set. And again, you know, if you wanted to, you could wear a hat. You could wear a fun hat like they do at the Kentucky Derby, but you don't have to. You could just put this beautiful salt and pepper shaker set on your table and have that same sort of, I don't know, fun and excitement of the Kentucky Derby, but at dinner time. So, how do these work? One part that's interesting is I think this also might be the first time we've seen this on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. Look at how you do the refill. There is a dispenser on the top. You might think it's a teapot. I'm going to pour it out like that, and it would get clogged in there in no time. No, it comes out of the top here, like that. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, they have the same. They have the same design and holes and hole shape. So this is going to be one of those occasions where you need to pour a little in your hand to know, is this the salt or pepper? Because you don't want to have an embarrassing salt and pepper situation. But in here, you see how this is so easy to refill. You just unscrew the top, comes off like that, and then you can pour the salt right in here. I don't even think you need a funnel with an opening of this size. And that way, it's really quick and easy to refill. So something to think about, you know, in your salt and pepper designs. You might think this is a pretty small design, but it may not hold a lot of salt and pepper, but it's so easy to refill. You could probably have that done in under 30 seconds. So now, how beautiful is this? We've got the detailed horse, almost embossed, engraved, detailed design there, sort of like a brass accent, like a beautiful, beautiful teapot. And then the whimsical teapot design and the elegant caddy that it sits in. So there we go on our road trip. We're off to Kentucky for the Kentucky Derby. How beautiful is that? Love it. Oh, moving along from Virginia to Kentucky, let's go to, neighboring Tennessee. What do we have for Tennessee? Now, this set's really something else. We don't always have a lot of sets that have handles. And I love a salt and pepper shaker set that has a handle to hold on to, because, you know, I don't feel like I'm a barbarian if I'm just using my hands going like that. But when you have the elegance of a handle like this, I love it. So these are 24 karat gold. My goodness, folks, I didn't know we had such an elegant salt and pepper shaker set. But what we have here is the Memphis, Tennessee beautiful collectible salt and pepper shaker set. With this option, we have again the handle, what I'm finding out is 24 karat gold around this top edge here, just that beautiful accent down the handle as well. It's like they thought, oh, where else can I put this beautiful 24 karat gold? On the sides and on the top. And then it also circles this wonderful graphic. What we are looking at is Memphis, Tennessee. And there is the skyline of Memphis. What looks to be beautiful pink flowers. I'm not sure which ones. It doesn't look like a dogwood. I don't know what flowers those are, but a gorgeous pink. And then it's going over top of what looks like a bridge, and coming through that bridge looks like a wonderful, like a steamboat, like an old-timey boat. You know, I'm not too familiar with Memphis, Tennessee, but I guess they have a beautiful river and a beautiful boat. So you're going to see that same graphic on both of these. Again, you might say, which one is which? How do I know? It's not that hard, because we have 1, 2, 3 three small holes for the salt. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the pepper here. So beautiful. And My favorite kind of stopper. It's the rubber stopper on the bottom here. Look at that. So this rubber stopper, and again, a pretty decent size there. I feel like these would probably stay on my table most of the year because they go with everything. We have the little handle, so elegant, so cute. And I feel like gold-plated accents are always welcome on my dinner table. And it's got a fun little design. So now we've gone from Virginia, we've gone to Kentucky, and now we made our way to Memphis, Tennessee. So what's going to be next? What's going to be next? Well, I think we've probably at this point made our way as far down south as we can go on the East Coast and ended up in Miami, Florida. How fun are these? Now, not only do I like a pink accent, not only do I like a cylindrical design, but I love flamingos. And look at that. Folks, this is a Miami, Florida, beautiful collectible piece. It is ceramic, but then hand painted with these fun flamingos. And it looks like, I'm trying to count how many legs there are. You know, sometimes they only have one leg out. We've got 3 flamingos on each of these, and they are surrounded by this wonderful pink border. And then the flamingos also have this beautiful greenery around them as well. My favorite parts about this. Now, most of the time, I'm letting folks know, how do I tell what's different? I'm counting the holes on the top, which is salt, which is pepper, and I love a good indicator. So all you have to do for this set is notice that the one that says Miami right here is your salt. Salty Miami. Salt Miami. Easy as that. And then your pepper option with the 3 holes, nothing. It says it's nothing. It's just plain. So the Miami in this fun font too. That's going to be your salt. And honestly, gosh, a set like this, I was thinking the Memphis was going to be out, but now I'm thinking it's Miami that's going to stay out on my table because look at the size. I love to set it and forget it. I know I've said it a few times, but we have the rubber stoppers, easy refill, the white, pink, and green color motif. Now that's going to look great in my kitchen. I think it's going to look great in your kitchen too. But a set like this, I think because of its size, because of the beautiful color motif, because the indicator of which one's salt and which one's pepper, frankly, I think I would probably keep this set out most of the year. Now you could think, oh, maybe I'm just gonna keep it out in the summertime because Miami, hot, Florida. No, you can have this set on your dinner table in February. It's up to you. You could switch out your salt and pepper shakers every day if you wanted to. It's just you can do whatever you want. So yeah, so we've gone now Virginia and Kentucky. Whoops. Virginia, Kentucky, Memphis to Miami, and now let's get over the West Coast a little bit. Let's work our way west. And with that, we have got our beautiful South Padre Island, Texas piece here. How gorgeous is that? I don't know if look. Now we had a set a long time ago. Oh gosh, it was like yellow, and it had this same finish. I don't know what this finish is called, but it is so iridescent. Again, looks like an abalone shell. Is the light picking it up? Abalone shell, which is so beachy, and this is a beachy set because we've got South Padre Island, Texas. So we've gone from Miami Beach to South Padre Island. Now, this Texas piece right here, we're looking at, again, I love this multicolor iridescent pinks, blues, yellows, abalone shell. Look, but then we've got a little scene of South Padre Island, and in this scene we're looking at beautiful sand, a little boat. Over here, some seagrasses, just some delicate grasses on either side. Some right there. Could be a cactus. I don't know. Something, you know, it could be something. A little for a dry, sandy climate. And then over here, I love a sailboat. Look at that. There is a blue and white sailboat on the water, and on the shore we have a lovely little lighthouse with a red top and the lighthouse keeper's home, or it's a welcome center. I don't know. Just a teeny tiny little cottage next to the lighthouse. Moving up, beautiful clouds, pink, probably picking up a gorgeous Texas sunset, and then these wonderful seabirds soaring in the sky. So, look, I would put this on my table, and frankly, I think I'd probably get a little bit lost in it, because I would just imagine myself sailing around on the sailboat, right? Or, you know, laying on the beach, taking the little wooden boat out, or going into the tiny red, oh gosh, what is that? The lighthouse keeper's house, you know, the welcome center, or climbing to the top of the lighthouse, and standing out on the top and looking at the view, because I imagine it would just be a stunning view. So, I've got this lovely Texas set, and yeah, it sounds like we have a caller too. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Jolene calling from Lukenbach, Texas.
Oh my goodness, down in Lukenbach, Texas, Waylon and Willie and the boys. I bet you get that a lot. Oh man.
Oh, yes. Now, I gotta get that South Padre Island set, because I go there every year with my family, and it is my favorite beach to visit, and I just gotta get this set because I gotta get those shakers on my table.
Well, great. You know what? We love to hear it. Thank you so much for calling in. Now, time for our last set. We've gone from Virginia over to Kentucky, over to Memphis, Tennessee, over to Florida, over to South Padre Island in Texas, and now we've ended up all the way on the West Coast, and we're over in California. And look at this. You know, California has so many beautiful sights, so many, you know, cities and famous landmarks and things. But you know what? This might not be what you expect from our California option, but I love it because it is 2 steins, and they're not just any sort of a stein. They are ornate, but plastic beer steins, and they have on them this crest on the front. Okay, and you know what the crest says? You zoom in there. It says drive-through state. Oh, sorry, drive-through tree, California, and then very small, redwood, drive-through tree, California redwood. And in this picture, you see in this crest, the actual redwood tree that you can drive through in the state of California. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to California. I haven't, but I've heard about these redwood trees, and they are so big, folks. They are so big that you can drive your vehicle through them. Isn't that wild? Now, you know, there's not a lot of places where you can drive through a tree. So I feel like having a salt and pepper shaker that commemorates a tree so massive that you can drive through it really makes sense to me. And so that's why I wanted to have this included in our coast to coast Great American Road Trip set, because you're literally driving through a tree. So why is it a beer stein? Well, why not? Look, the construction of this beer stein is really actually conducive to being a really helpful style for a salt and pepper shaker set. And you might be wondering why. Well, you flip up the top, then your salt or pepper comes out, and it makes it so easy that, you know, it's kind of fun. It's like, you know, pouring it out like that. But when you close the top, you'll notice it's not an airtight seal, right? But what it is allowing some air to not be passed through to the salt and pepper inside. And while pepper is a little bit more, oh, I don't know, easier to keep fresh, salt, on the other hand, you get enough humidity and liquid into a salt container, and you are going to have just a clump of salt that and then it's impossible to get out of the shaker. It's the second biggest problem, maybe first, I don't know. The second biggest problem after not having a sturdy base on your salt and pepper shakers is exposure to air, or exposure to moisture in the air. So, you know, living in California, maybe it's a little bit of a drier heat, not a problem. In some of those other states, Virginia, Memphis, Florida, probably Texas, and Kentucky for that matter, you're dealing with that humidity, and it's going to clump up your salt. So having a salt and pepper shaker option like this, maybe it's one that you break out on those warmer months, depending on where you live, and it will help keep your salt separated and loose within the container so that it flows freely onto your dinners. But with this, I think, you know, I feel like there was a lot of whimsy in the Kentucky Derby set, but this has a little element of whimsy as well, because you've got the top that you can flip up, always really fun. And then I love a handle, as you know, and the beautiful detail of the crest here. But then there's also a lot of ornate details that you might not even notice if you're just grabbing the salt and going for it, right? But if you look closely, there is like a farm scene happening here. I think it could be people having dinner themselves. I'm not really sure. I want to say that's a grape. I want to say that's also grapes or wheat. I don't know what that is. Is this a lady and a fellow at the table? And then is this another fellow at the other end of the table? Are they even at a table? Are they starting a fire in the fireplace? I don't know. But it looks to be a brick building, like a rustic brick building, where there's also, you know, a little window and some more corn. I don't know. And then on the front, you've got a beautiful, ornate detailed pattern around the edge. And then even the detail of like a textured handle. It's really something. These are really something. And they are so easy to refill because they've got the rubber stopper, my favorite. But you know how some of the rubber stoppers, you just got to kind of dig in there to get the stopper out. This actually has an indentation. Look, the nail fits right in there easily. And then you can, you know, pull that rubber stopper out for a quick and easy refill. So, folks, the Great American Road Trip is really something, and a wonderful set to have for your dinner table and tablescapes. So again, going through what's part of the set, we've got California redwood trees, drive-through tree, in this beautiful plastic stein. But no one's going to know it's plastic until they reach for it. It's got such a nice finish to it. And then we moved over to South Padre Island with this lovely, lovely beach scene that you can just get lost in, and this amazing abalone iridescent finish. I love it. It's gorgeous. And then over here to Florida, and with this set, you know who's the salt? Miami salt. You've got your birds, you've got your flamingos, you've got your greens and pinks. It's such a beautiful set. And then we went over to Memphis and saw the gorgeous boats, the water scene, the river, the skyline. Love this. And the beautiful, beautiful gold-plated details throughout the set. And then we had our Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Tea Time set here. How beautiful is that? Again, with the easy unscrew top option for refilling. Haven't seen that yet. Love it. And the gorgeous, gorgeous caddy that it sits in. And last but certainly not least, another beautiful beach scene. Virginia Beach. What a gorgeous beach that is too. With the shells and beautiful blue and purple kind of color theme there. Love it. Very, very hip color scheme. I've seen stuff like this recently. I love it. Great for your table. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 separate sets of salt and pepper shakers could be yours. You're probably wondering for how much, and the answer is $19.99. You might think I've lost it with a deal that good, but I haven't. I just think that this is a wonderful and versatile set that everyone should have, with a little bit of whimsy, a lot of beautiful color, and just helping you feel like you're taking the great American road trip, driving across all the different states, but doing that just from your dinner table every night. So this is a limited time set, and you probably won't see a deal this good again, so you should call now to get this beautiful set to be yours today for just $19.99. Welcome back to the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. Now, today we are showcasing an absolutely whimsical and delightful 5-piece Cozy Cottage Salt and Pepper Shaker collection. This is an amazing, amazing offer, yours today for just $19.99. I want to go through and share a little bit more about each one of these delightful Cozy Cottage Salt and Pepper Shakers individually, to give you a little bit more information and detail about each one. A set that you might think, hey, Sleepy Keys Tingle Network, where was this set a couple of weeks ago when you showcased the which came first, the chicken or the egg collection? Well, I'll tell you, the reason why I wanted to put them in this collection is because these aren't just regular roosters, right? These are gorgeous, hand-painted and detailed roosters that have this delightful floral motif on the sides, these beautiful, elegant blue details, and this mismatched pose that helps you differentiate which one's which. So, now, the other reason why I wanted to share these first is because they are Lennox brand salt and pepper shakers. Now, Lennox is one of the most trusted names in your ceramic salt and pepper shakers. So this is really a beautiful, versatile set that you'll want to have on your table if you are going for that cozy cottage feel. Now, imagine these little roosters, and they're just clucking around out in the garden. Maybe you've got a little hen house and a grassy patch, and these little cuties are just clucking around out there. And probably in your cozy cottage, they're waking you up at the bright hours of the early morning with their rooster call. So the craftsmanship of a Lennox salt and pepper shaker is really unmatched. These, I wish you could feel it through the camera. These are just so well made. They don't feel like they're gonna crack if you were to just slightly drop them off your table, or if you accidentally clink them together like that. They feel very sturdy, well made, and quite durable. And then you'll notice in here the craftsmanship of these rooster tails is really, really something beautiful, because we have this rooster here where there are these lines all throughout, and they have such detail and shading that really makes it look, to me, like a realistic rooster's tail. And then this rooster tail is just so gorgeous. Now it's curled up a little bit on itself. You know how they'll do that sometimes, the roosters walking around, clucking around, they curl that tail up, as opposed to the display here. But yeah, so he's got the tail curled up. But again, look at that detail and shading. They could have just left it white, but they've added some extra depth to it by shading in this gorgeous detailed piece here. Now, looking on the sides, what's more country cozy than a poppy? So in this piece, they've got the hand-painted details, and it's a three-dimensional feel of these poppies on the side here. Again, they've got some beautiful accents, and there's a poppy on the side, but there's also a beautiful poppy on the front. Same for this fella. He's got the poppy on that side, and then an additional poppy on this side as well. And then there's the little green leaves in the stem, and then, you know, you've got these blue flourishes on the side here that really balance out the composition on this piece of art, honestly. Now, these don't have the most expressive eyes. I honestly don't think there is a piece in today's set where you're going to see an expressive eye, but maybe that's what you want in your salt and pepper shaker for a cozy cottage situation, because sometimes you get lost in the expressive eyes, whereas here you can just see these adorable roosters staring at you from, you know, any part of your kitchen table, dining room table. But the greatest thing about this is that these two roosters, they can be put into a number of different gorgeous configurations, and it's always going to be beautiful because there is a gorgeous hand-painted detail on every area of this rooster. Look at that. So, these are tail-to-tail configuration roosters, but maybe you have them side by side, or maybe this guy's here and they're looking at each other, right? Or maybe they're like this. He's looking back at this one. What's going on back there? My favorite configuration, looking in either direction. So beautiful. Now, which one is which? They're both roosters, but what you're going to want to remember is this is this is a 3-hole top for your pepper, and this rooster is your 2-hole dispenser for your salt. So, you know, you've got salt standing. Well, you can remember it like that. Salt is standing, and then pepper is peeking. And pepper's peeking behind at his tail feathers, right? Pepper peeking, salt standing. So, what a beautiful set. The gorgeous craftsmanship, hand-painted details, durable design, and you know you have a great set when it's that trusted Linux name, right? So, literally just the first set. But there's nothing quite cottage cozy as some chickens or roosters. If you're gonna have a cottage, you're gonna have to have a couple of chickens. Everybody knows that. So, set number 1, gorgeous Linux, trusted quality, poppy, and blue motif rooster salt pepper shakers. So beautiful. Now, who's next? Oh gosh, so many great choices. But I'm gonna go with the Susan Kingnet watering can. Wingnet. Is it Kingnet or Wingnet? I don't remember. Maybe it says it on here. It's Wingnet. Okay. After Linux, the most beautiful designs that you can see in a salt and pepper cottage theme is a Susan Wingnet salt and pepper shaker set. Now, this gorgeous set, look at that. These are rather large. It is a flower pot and a watering can. I don't know if I've ever seen a quite more whimsical cottage themed salt pepper shaker dispenser, but if I did, this would be it, because what you have here is first of all the flower pot. Now the details in here are just so gorgeous. First, notice how they both have this hand-painted gorgeous red heart It's a red heart with a blue outline. When I think of cottages, I'm thinking blues and yellows. It's a given, right? I'm also thinking flower pots, flowers, cutesy, gardens, and what says that more than a watering can and a potted plant? They both have this coordinating, lovely heart. I feel like it should face forward because it's so beautiful. But going back over to the flowers, now I'm not sure what flowers these are. I know they're beautiful, but in terms of the type, oh, it's a nice full bush of flowers, but it's not a chrysanthemum. I don't think it's a pansy. I love a hardy pansy in the wintertime. You know, such a small, delicate flower, but it does last, and it is pretty cold hardy. Another cold hardy plant I love is a decorative cabbage. You put, you know, a cabbage plant out in your garden in the wintertime, depending on what zone you're in. You know, refer to the Farmer's Almanac. Depending on what zone you're in, if you put out an ornamental cabbage, you have beautiful, beautiful cabbage flowers and colors throughout the fall and into the winter. Back on track. I'm gonna say these are, let's just say they're yellow pansies because they're so durable. This is such a sturdy design. It's, you know, they could have just done like one flower or just a green bush, but look at all the detail in here. There must be, I don't want to lose count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh, 24 if you count the top. 24 gorgeous pansy flowers in this delightful, adorable, cozy flower pot. Now, what I like about this flower pot and the watering can for that matter, look at how large these are. Where's my ruler? Oh boy, you've got, how tall is that going up? I would say 3.5 inches. About 3.5 at the tallest part. This set in particular in this collection will hold the most salt and pepper. So it's probably going to be a set that you want out on your table in your cozy cottage for most of the year, because it's so versatile, because it's so beautiful, and because you don't have to refill it so often. Now, if you did need to refill it, look, it's got the rubber stoppers. We love to see it. These, you just pop that out, refill it. You probably, you know, depending on how you are with those, you know, Morton salt, those dispensers, pour it right in there. Or you can use a funnel if you're, you know, feeling like you might make a mess. Now, the watering can. I would almost just have this on my table as like decoration, as a piece of art, because it's so cute, so cozy, so whimsical. But look, stick your finger through the side and you're watering your little salt and pepper. Now, the 2-hole design tells me this is salt, which is great because it makes so much sense to me to have the watering can be the salt and the potted flower to be the pepper. Because now you can't pour it out the front. That it's really just not practical to have salt going through this small enclosure here into this, but it has a handle, so you can water it. You just have to turn it a little bit more. Look, so I get to use this delicate and elegant handle on this watering can every time I want to add salt to my soups and stews, and whereas the pepper, you're tapping on this lovely flower pot to add some pepper, again, to your soups and stews, whatever you're having. But, you know, I feel like I'm going to use a lot of pepper too, so it's got a great handle, very ergonomic, right? So beautiful. Okay, now salt, pepper. Now again, I mentioned there roosters, the color yellow, very cozy, very country, very cottage rather. Pink. Look at this beautiful pink. You've got yellow to pink, pink to yellow. This gorgeous decorative stripe around the base of this watering can and around the top. And then there's a little bit of pink here and a little bit on the spout of this watering can as well. It's so beautiful. And actually, you know, I feel like it has so many colors, and it has such a fun, you know, pop, that if you were to have it in your kitchen or on your dinner table, wherever you're sitting down to dine, a set like this is really going to tie together a lot of different color schemes. You know, we've got the blues on the curtains here, some lace, but it's definitely a cozy color scheme. Look at that. Great. Now, we have a few more to get through. And I mentioned, yes, so this is salt and this is pepper. We've got that cleared up. How would we remember salt in the watering can? I think you would just know. Salt water, you know? Get it? Like the ocean? Salt? I don't know. Anyways. Next up we have the Easter lilies. Now again, your coziness of your cottage is determined by your cottage garden. I don't make the rules, folks. It's just how it is. And if you've got, you know, a little couple of roses, ideally a yellow rose, right, or pink. Maybe there's a crepe myrtle off to the side. What else is in my cozy garden? And my imagination. It's fenced in with a delightful picket fence and then an ornate gate that you walk through to get to the garden. Oh, there's gonna be some clover. Oh, what else would I put in there? You know, if it was winter time, like I said, the potted ornamental cabbage. It's your dream cottage. You know, put whatever flowers you want in your garden. But Easter lilies. Now, these are a beautiful statement. I think just the way they sit on your table. How gorgeous. Look at that. It's a very unusual salt and pepper set because, you know, we've seen a lot of things with sturdy bases, your standard conical shapes, your animals. I don't think we've had any flora like this on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network, right? So what is really special here and why it's in the cottage set is because you've got gorgeous cozy hand-painted details. You've got the green goes up the back here, where you've got the stem of the lily, and then around to the side this beautiful trumpet shape, and that's what helps keep it a little bit more sturdy. And then in here you've got the inner workings of a flower and this lovely yellow accent. And again, now you're gonna see almost all of these and sets today have a yellow accent, because what is cozy cottage more than a lovely light yellow? So now for these flowers, you might be wondering, how do I get the salt and pepper in and out? How do I pour it? What's going on? I've never seen something like this before. Here's how it works. There's your salt, 1 hole. Here's your pepper, 2 holes. Now these don't hold a lot, but what you're gonna do is remove the cork stopper. Another great stopper option for your salt and pepper shakers. And you're gonna move that to refill it, and then set it back upon your table. Now someone might see this and be like, oh, Gosh, that's so beautiful. You've got such a lovely table decoration. I've never seen anything like that. And you say, oh, you mean the salt and pepper shakers? And they just gasp. Oh, that's so beautiful. I've never seen anything like that. Where did you get it? The Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. So, now these Easter lilies are 100% charm. And you know what else is great about them? They don't smell. Look. Don't get upset with me, but I don't love the way a lily smells. I think it's strong and off-putting. So the reason why I would love to have these on my table is because it has the beauty and elegance of an Easter lily, but without the stank. So, gorgeous Easter lily set, gorgeous flowers, very cozy, very cottage. Next up, what else do we have here? Why? It's too cute. It's too cute. It makes me want to squeal, you know? But it is the Little English Cottages. Look at this. Gosh. I don't think you're ever going to see anything more beautiful or more whimsical than these Little English Cottages. Now, if you're taking a look here, I want you to see that these are identical, but they are so cute. You would want 2 of these cottages on your dinner table anyways. Now, how do you tell them apart? The old count. 1, 2 for salt. 1, 2, 3 for your pepper. Now, look at the detail in here. We have this adorable yellow cottage. Now, if I was to paint a house, oh gosh, if it was a cottage, I would want it to be a cottage color. So why not choose a beautiful yellow? I would maybe do a light blue, maybe a combination. But this is too adorable. We have the yellow painted cottage. The door frame here almost looks like columns, but it's just a cutesy door frame. 2 windows on either side, and you can even see through to the windows. What's going on in there? Oh, I don't know. Someone's probably having lunch at a kitchen table, and they have some really cute salt and pepper shakers on the table. Or you're looking into this window, and oh, I think I see an older fella, and he's putting a ship in a bottle. Yes. And the front of the house has these beautiful, look at these bushes out front. Well manicured lawn, right? Not a lawn, but cozy cottage garden. Coming around to the side, we follow the garden path over to the side window where there's beautiful, beautiful green painted shutters and details like I've never seen before in a salt and pepper shaker. Now, if you take a look here into this window, what do we see? I think I see a 4-post wooden bed in the bedroom, and it's small, and there's a really sweet quilt folded up on the end of the bed, right? How cozy is that? We're coming around to the back of the house. Look, 2 more windows. How beautiful is this? And it follows a little garden path. 2 more windows. What do we see in here? I don't see anything in these windows, but I smell an apple pie cooling in the window. Yeah, and then around to this side, we've got some more shutters as beautiful accents, but also the fireplace. Because you can't feel cozy, especially in the wintertime, without a warm fire. So, this is such a delightful, delightful Little English Cottage charming set. Charm out the wazoo. A must-have for whimsy. And just a great addition to add to your kitchen table. Now, the ceramic make of these is quite sturdy. You can feel it. You can feel the quality in there. But also, I feel like the bright color palette makes it really playful. Makes it really fun and playful. So, I think this is such a durable and playful and fun set. I gotta get these for myself. You know, I'm thinking about Now thinking back to, you know, our rooster friends, this is so my sister-in-law. You know why? She loves roosters. You know what happens, folks? When you become a woman of a certain age, you pick the thing you like, right? And then all of your friends and family and significant others, maybe, they're gonna get you the thing that you like. So you need to pick wisely. Now, my sister-in-law chose roosters. So every year for her birthday, for Christmas, for really any special occasion to celebrate, I'm gonna gift her a rooster because she likes roosters. Roosters are her thing. Now I can't pick roosters too because then we would both be picking roosters. I feel like we'd be in competition with one another with who's got the most roosters. Do you have this rooster in your collection? Why are you stealing my rooster designs? No. So roosters aren't for me, but they are for my sister-in-law. Whereas my mother-in-law is into gardening. So I would get this set, but I would gift her these because she's the gardener, you know. So she would get a real kick out of the salt that you pour on like a little watering can. So cute. She would totally understand the whimsy, and that would also show that I care and love her, as displayed through these hearts in the design. And then there's I don't know, co-workers, people who, what do I get them? I don't know. What do they like? I don't want to think about it too much, but everybody likes Easter lilies. So why not gift these gorgeous Easter lily salt and pepper shakers? Just an idea. I don't think I would want to gift them because they're too beautiful. It's just me. But you could gift these. However, the yellow English cottage with the garden, the little chimney, the great details, all that. This is staying with me. I'm gonna get this set, and these aren't leaving my household because they're gonna be on the table. Gosh, I'm looking at this, especially with the garden in full bloom, and I think this is your spring go-to for what are you gonna put on the the dinner table. These right here. Okay, last but not least, I think of cozy when I think of cottage. I think of a combination of wood and ceramic and floral motif. These have it all right here. This is the epitome of cozy cottage because you have an upper part which is made of this beautiful ceramic, and then the bottom part has this gorgeous wood finish here. I think this is teak also. It's beautiful wood, but when I'm looking at a cozy cottage kitchen, sometimes I'm gonna see it's a very wooden kitchen. There's a wooden table, there are wooden chairs, there are wooden cabinets, there are wooden cutting boards, there are wooden plates and bowls, so you're going to have a lot of those wood accents in a cozy cottage. So this really ties that sort of wooden feel together for your cozy cottage experience. The other thing about this, I keep saying that yellow is very cozy cottage, but you know what else is, folks? Blue. And not just any blue, cornflower blue. There's something about cornflower blue so calming, so cozy, and so beautiful, if you will, that it just really ties together the whole cozy cottage theme. You can see here there's a beautiful flower, the cornflower blue flower, and then the greenery around it, and these little brown pieces also accented by the brown in this beautiful wood and the wood grain. They match, as you can see. So it's one of those situations where there's not going to be a huge differentiator of which one's salt, which one's pepper, but just take a look at the top. We've got your salt right here. Just one hole for your salt. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes for your pepper. Now, you might think if I was to have this set on my table, would it get lost? Especially if you have a wood table. No. Because of that contrasting ceramic upper part, it's just a beautiful standout piece on a cozy cottage. You know what kind of makes me think of? I grew up in a log cabin. So when you talk about having a predominantly wood home, you're going to want to have those wooden accents that draw out the beauty of the wood inside your home in some of your decorations, such as this wood, ceramic, cornflower blue, beautiful hand-painted details. This is just such a lovely set, and it's got a very large rubber stopper. Look at that. These are very easy to refill, very versatile, very beautiful, and so whimsical on your cozy cottage themed table. And honestly, it really goes with any tablescape, so I feel like, you know, something like this you could have out a good amount of the year. I'm thinking summer into autumn. Maybe that's just me. And I think that's it for set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 sets. A steel as always. You know, starting with our wood and porcelain, or ceramic, sorry, hand-painted flowers with the blue, right? Gorgeous. Oh, my absolute favorite. I just get lost in the details of this cozy yellow English cottage right here. You got your Easter, your lilies that don't stink. Beautiful lilies. You've got the really statement piece. I mean, the eye is so drawn to this. The beautiful Susan Wingett watering can and flower pot. You know, this is how you pour on the flavor. And have a pop of color as well. And then last but not least, we've got these delightful Linux trusted quality roosters as part of this charming cozy cottage salt and pepper shaker collection. Now, if you were to guess how much these would be, you'd be right if you said $19.99. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. This is just, you know, so much elegance, so much fun charm, so much whimsy in a set of 5 salt and pepper shakers. So, you know, I would pay $19.99 just for the watering can and potted flowers. That's just me. But you get all of these, all 5, today for $19.99. Now, this is a limited time deal. This this cottage isn't going to be cozy forever. So go ahead and give us a call and pick up your cozy cottage salt and pepper shaker collection today. We're back on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network, and today we are showcasing 4 sets of salt and pepper shakers. This set we're calling the Great American Road Trip Part 2 because we are showcasing salt and peppers themed after 4 great American locations, working our way back from the West Coast to the East Coast. So, starting right off, yeah, I've got this vest on today. I just feel like it really embodies what you wear on, you know, the Great American Road Trip. Though I do feel like it is a little bit noisy. So I apologize if that's the case. Anyways, yeah, so starting off with our furthest west option here, we are looking at San Francisco, California. What a fun far west coast destination to travel to. Looking at this salt and pepper shaker, we have 2 ceramic, beautiful cylindrical containers here where there is a beautiful hand-painted motif of different areas of the city of San Francisco and the different sites that you can see on each one. And then moving up to the top, you can see how there's a beautiful gold tone detail on the top of the shaker, as well as this gorgeous gold circle to outline the top of the shaker. Now, looking at this one, we've got the old 1 hole for salt and the 2 holes here for your pepper. And both of these shakers have the rubber stoppers on the bottom as well for easy refill. Now, I think this is a beautiful and versatile shaker because, you know, you've got the beautiful hand-painted scenery on each one, but then these are salt and pepper shakers with a sturdy base that also have you know, a good container holding size to them, so you can fit a lot of salt and pepper in these. And when you have them on your tablescape, you can always be whimsically reminded of the city of San Francisco. Now, I am looking at the details of what's in this gorgeous hand-painted scene here. We have the text San Francisco in red with a on a beautiful yellow banner. It kind of looks like those signs that they have in California, but underneath of it there is a cable car. So if there's one thing when I think San Francisco, I think cable car, right? So you gotta have that front and center on the design. It even says there, if you're not sure what it is, it says in very small print, cable car. You know, I'm looking in this window, I'm seeing people busy doing, you know, on their day-to-day. They're off to work, they're seeing the sights, they're really utilizing public transportation, but in a really fun way. And then, you know, I'll be honest with you, it's kind of silly, but when I think about San Francisco and a cable car, you know, there's lots of iconic scenes, but my first thought goes to Full House. I'm thinking in the opening sequence of Full House and hanging out the window waving. Anyways, and then down here we have the Japan Center Peace Pagoda. So there's the Peace Pagodas there, over into the Fisherman's Wharf. And then you have the Coit Tower to the side here. And up top, Chinatown. And the crookedest street. And then, of course, the Golden Gate Bridge. And after cable cars, I'm thinking Golden Gate Bridge. So this has all of the greatest sights that you can see in San Francisco in, you know, one beautifully hand-painted set of salt and pepper shakers. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to San Francisco. I did go once when I was actually quite young. Now, I was with my family, and I must have been about 7 years old. But here's what I remember the most from that trip. So, first of all, I vaguely remember, you know, not in San Francisco proper, but we went to look at redwoods. Very exciting, very big trees. But then we also went on a walk on the Golden Gate Bridge. And, you know, I think we had to buy sweaters. I remember wearing a sweater, but walking on the Golden Gate Bridge and thinking, gosh, it's really cold and windy up here. Quite breezy. So if you are traveling to San Francisco, you do want to bring a windbreaker or an extra jacket. You know, as with any travel, you want to have some layers and options there. Yeah, so that's what I remember. Chilly, windy time on the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, I also vaguely remember going to Chinatown, which was really a whimsical place. Lots of sights and sounds, and I don't remember what we did after that, but I do remember that was our last stop before we got on a plane to come home. And I was, again, very young, but I ended up getting, I guess, air sickness, maybe a little bug, I don't know. But I upchucked on the plane. So embarrassing. Although I was just 7, but like, you know, it was embarrassing. I had to use the little baggie and everything. But that's honestly what I remember most. Windy Bridge, upchucking on the plane. And then I'm looking over here at the, crooked streets. Now, I wonder if that would be a great place for Nancy to teach me how to drive a stick shift, right? I can't imagine, because it's so steep, so hilly. The whole clutch situation, the turns, the hills, I can't even imagine. But anyways, that's our first set. West Coast, San Francisco. It looks like there is a little something on this one, but these, again, very sturdy, won't chip easily, and a great option to have on your tablescape. Next up, moving from San Francisco, California, over to Colorado. So, actually, quite a hike if you were to think about it, if you were to go from California to Colorado. But, gosh, there's a little something on this one, too. Let me see if I can clean this off. Ideally, this would be done before we shoot, but sometimes you just gotta roll with it. Okay, that looks much better. Now, Colorado. This is such a fun set because it has all of the, I guess, rustic whimsy of like a hunting lodge, but also cutesy little cabin shape in this salt and pepper shaker set. Now, we have my favorite handles on this beautiful ceramic, kind of a dark cream, certainly not eggshell, but something much darker than that, off-white. And it is a beautiful little container where it's kind of got this shape, this ridged shape to it, and a lovely glaze where you can see little crackles in the salt and pepper shaker coating as well. And then the graphic is the same on each one, just like we saw in San Francisco. Now, this isn't a specific city, but it does say Colorado. And what is more Colorado than a big buck and a lady deer, maybe a fawn, and then a beautiful woodland scene and a setting sun or sunrise. We can't really be sure, but I think it's a setting sun. That same beautiful setting sun color is also accented upon the top ring of the container. So you got your 1 hole for the salt, you got your 2 hole for the pepper, and you take these, refill them with rubber stoppers, very easy, and then you can pour on the flavor with these delightful little handles. Yeah, I love doing that, right? You can do a little tap, you can tap on the sides, but I love a little handle so you can daintily add your salt and pepper to your meal. Now, you know, I have been to Colorado too, and it wasn't that long ago. Oh gosh. But, you know, this was for visiting some friends that live there. And I went with some girlfriends. We ended up going to Rocky Mountain National Park, which I had never been to before, so that was a real treat. And while we were there, we went up into the park. We did a little hike. It wasn't anything too wild, but I felt like I was, you know, quite thirsty. I didn't really account for the altitude in the park. You know, they call Denver the Mile High City, but I suppose I wasn't quite acclimated when we were in the park. I felt quite thirsty. Maybe got a little headachy too. Did not stop me from enjoying beautiful views and gorgeous lakes that were in the distance in between these mountains. And then at one point, I remember looking over the side of the mountain, well, basically a cliff, and on a little rock there was a tiny little rodent. I don't know what, a pika maybe? Is that what it's called? It was the cutest thing I may have ever seen in my life. And you know, I love most rodents. You know, I'd love to see a chinchilla, but this looked kind of like a big mouse, little chinchilla. The cutest thing with these adorable little ears and this chubby little furry body. Yeah, it was so cute. And then it made this little chirp sound, this little peep. I just loved it. So that was definitely a highlight for me on that trip. What else did I see there? Oh, I don't know. I vaguely remember doing some karaoke. We just went out on the town a little bit. Anyways, it's such a beautiful state. I haven't explored all of it, but I think that beauty is accurately reflected in these gorgeous salt and pepper shakers right here. Next up, Colorado. San Francisco, California to Colorado to our nation's capital. We've got Washington, D.C. Now, you think Washington, D.C., you think 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, or you think, I don't know, I think traffic, honestly, but you also think of the Washington Monument and the U.S. Capitol. And why not commemorate a trip to Washington, D.C., or, you know, have the whimsy of politics and patents, everything that happens in D.C. On your tablescape. And the best way to do that is with this lovely set of salt and pepper shakers. Now, it says on the bottom, Washington, D.C., and we have, honestly, a very interesting set here where these are beautifully coated, shiny, I believe they're porcelain, but they might be ceramic. These might be porcelain. But you've got all the detail in each brick on this on this Washington Monument here, and then the top has this lovely gold-plated accent. Now, I don't know if you've seen the Washington Monument. It's not gold-plated on the top, so I'm not sure about the accuracy there, but it does add for a beautiful piece nonetheless. So, same thing here for the Capitol. You've got lovely gold accents around the perimeter as well as on the top as well. So, and then the details of, you know, windows and, you know, they missed some steps there, but you get the point. You get the point that you look at these and you think Washington, D.C. So, if you weren't sure what these were, it says it right there. Monument. And right here it says U.S. Capitol. So, this is such a fun set. You have rubber stoppers, delightful, easy to refill. But then this is very interesting for how the salt and pepper comes out, because we have 8 holes. 8 holes for the monument, and then 6 holes for the Capitol building here. So I would say the 6 is your salt and 8's pepper, but I kind of feel like, you know, if you're watching your sodium intake, you put the salt in the monument and then your pepper in the Capitol. Perhaps they have the same volume. I'm going to have to look that up in our specifications. But, you know, whichever one you use a little bit more of, I think you'd put in the Capitol building, and then whatever you use a little bit less of, you put in the Washington Monument. Now, I don't want to blow your minds here, but I do. I just had a thought. What if you had salt and pepper shakers? And this is the first time we've ever talked about this on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network, but just bear with me here. Imagine you put your salt and pepper in one set, and then you put your Old Bay seasoning in here, and then you put your Italian spices in here, and you'd have to remember what you have in each one, but that way you know, you don't have to just have one set of salt and pepper shakers on your table. And it's really a great way to then be able to utilize all of the different salt and pepper shakers in your collection into, you know, multiple options. So I know it sounds a little wild. I don't know if it's ever been done before, but something to consider. You know, salt, pepper, and then Old Bay, Italian. I'd say crushed red pepper, but I don't think it's going to fit through the holes. So maybe garlic salt. And then maybe in here paprika. The possibilities are endless. Anyways, you know, back to the Washington Monument and the Capitol building here. You know, I have been to DC a few times. First of all, if you are anywhere close to the East Coast, you're going to go to the to do a Washington Mall at some point in your youth, and it's going to be a field trip, and you're going to have, oh gosh, you know, a number of stops, a lot of history. You're going to see all the monuments and such. But I vaguely remember going as a kid, and I think we went to, oh geez, not maybe the Air and Space Museum, or Air and Space, not natural history. Either way, I remember being very young. We had a buddy system, maybe 3rd grade or something. And in the lobby, we were kind of wrapping up our, you know, our tour of the museum. And there was one of those, oh gosh, it's like a, I don't know, centrifugal force, some sort of whimsical, big circular thing. And you put a quarter in it or something, and then the quarter just goes around and around and around and around. And so, you know, just being a kid, I put my quarter in there and I'm watching it, and it is fascinating. And I may have gotten a little lost in it, and you know, look up and I see that my buddy is gone, and I don't see any other you know, members of my class at that point in the, you know, front lobby area, and I'm freaking out, you know. But I kept my cool, you know, I looked around, didn't see anyone. I exited the building and was able to find our bus. I believe there was a sign on it, but I did have a small moment of panic where I thought, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a situation where I get left in Washington D.C. and then the bus leaves and I don't make it back home. But it was fine. I kept my cool. So much for the buddy system, though. Yeah. Anyways, so we went from California to Colorado to Washington, D.C. And now we're making our way up the East Coast over to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Now look at these. How gorgeous is this set? I love a bold red when it comes to a salt and pepper shaker. I think it adds a lot of, visual impact to your kitchen or dining room table. So these are probably the most boldest and beautifulest salt and pepper shaker set that we have in the collection. I don't know why these didn't get dusted. Not a big deal, just do it now. But what we have here are, I want to say these are some beautiful red kettles. It's not a percolator, it's not like a coffee kettle, but it's like a tall kettle you put on the stove, or, I think of it as, oh gosh, you're in Massachusetts. It's very cold. It's a very cold, windy situation on the coast. You're at Cape Cod, and you want to warm up with a hot cup of tea. And so you put the kettles on the stove. They go off. They're whistling, and then you pour yourself a really cozy cup of tea from your red kettle. There's something about these kettles, though. I'm looking at them, and I'm like, is this a lighthouse? Because it kind of looks like a lighthouse too. So there's a lot of Cape Cod-y things about it, including, you might think a Cape Cod set, why not a lobster? Where's the seafood? No, I don't even like seafood that much, but in this case it's got the red color of a lobster. Now, it has my favorite thing, handles. So you pour on the flavor, just like that. Now again, it doesn't come out of the spout. Tip it over, pour it out from the top, not the spout. And these have rubber stoppers as well, but also just this gorgeous bright red finish. They both have 4 holes. So that's where things get a little tricky, except for they don't, because it says right there, salt. I love it when there's an indicator in big letters right on the front. Salt, pepper. Same amount of holes. You could get wild with it and put pepper and salt and pepper, but your guests might get upset. Anyways, these kettles are such a large size with such a sturdy base that you can I would probably keep these out. I'd say most of the year, not just summer, fall. I'm thinking Cape Cod summers. I don't know. I went there once. Again, this was a trip when I was also very young, but I would say it was kind of chilly. I don't remember swimming, but we went to Cape Cod. I remember, oh gosh, I must have been like 6 years old. I was very young, but we went on a whale watching trip, and I do believe we saw whales, but I don't think it was so exciting that it was something that stuck in my head, honestly. Or they were pretty far away, but yeah, there were some whales. It was also windy. I think it was overcast, but the thing I remember the most from this trip to Cape Cod, we were walking on the beach, and I looked, down the ways a bit, and I saw what looked like a $1 bill being six. I'm like, oh, that's exciting. And I walk over to it, and it was a $5 bill. And to me, I was like, oh, well, I just struck it rich, $5. Don't spend it all in one place, right? But that's literally what I remember the most, was whale watching, finding $5 on the beach. Either way, I think it's a beautiful place. I'd like to go back again. But I haven't been back up to Cape Cod since I was about 6 years old. So, anyways, beautiful red color, lovely handles, gorgeous black lines and accents, and the easy indicator, salt, pepper, and the Cape Cod delightfully and whimsically drawn on the side there. So that is the set, working our way from the west coast back east and then slightly up the coast. So again, what we just saw: Cape Cod, lobster red, our Massachusetts lovely kettles here, and then our Washington D.C. Washington Monument and the U.S. Capitol, and this lovely, gorgeous gold and porcelain white finish here, and then our Colorado little shaker bottles here with the beautiful handles, the lovely hand-painted details featuring the deer and the sunset, and the Colorado text. And last but not least, the San Francisco best of highlights of the city, beautifully painted in such detail on this matching salt and pepper shaker set. So that's it. It is 4 sets of gorgeous salt and pepper shakers that could be yours today for a low price of $19.99. So that's really a steal, and it is all the fun of a great American road trip, working your way from the west coast back east and up for the low price of $19.99. So this is a limited time deal. It won't last, so be sure to call today. Welcome back to the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. Today, we are showcasing the most wonderful and largest collection yet. It is our Delft's Blue ceramic, hand-painted, handcrafted salt and pepper collection. Now, this collection features 7 different salt and pepper shakers that could be yours today for the low price of $29.99. Now, I do want to go through each one of these salt and pepper shakers to show a few more details, talk a little bit about each one. But honestly, before we get started, I did just want to talk a little bit about the Delft Blue pieces here. So, Delft Blue is actually Dutch earthenware, as we can see by some of the themes here with the windmills, the couple, and the clog shoes as well. So this is pottery, and it's been glazed in such a way that I guess it's called a tin glaze, and it gives the pieces this glossy white finish while also turning the blue, which was black, into this signature Delft rich blue color. So these pieces are all stunning, all shiny, and just what a lovely addition to add to your salt and pepper collection. So, starting off, I think there's so many that are my favorites in here, but honestly, I feel like I want to start with these showstoppers right here. This lovely little ceramic white and blue Dutch couple. So take a look at these two. This couple is really beautifully handcrafted, where you've got the fellow here who's a bit rotund, and then he's wearing a lovely darker blue bow and a hat. And then the lady here, she's got a little crown emblem on the bottom. I believe that's part of the crafts mark. And then she's got a little apron on. She's crossing her little hands, and it goes up into her very detailed hair, the bow on her apron, and this beautiful accented Dutch hat on the top as well. So these two, they have a sturdy base, so they're not going to be sliding around on your table, but they will be offering a lot of adorable whimsy. So you do have to pick with these two. We've got the lady here as holding your salt, and then the fellow here has 3 holes atop his hat for pepper. How beautiful is that? So I feel like this is really a standout piece in the set because you know, this couple really embodies the Delft blue you know, style here, but also a nod to, I guess, Dutch culture as well. So starting off with this one, moving along, I'm going to go right into these beautifully hand-painted Holland pieces right here. Now, you know what I'm going to say. Yes, these have a sturdy base, but you know what they also have? Handles. And the print on these, or rather the hand-painted details, is really something. We have a little Dutch scene. So it's like a field in Holland where you've got this beautiful windmill detail, some clouds, a little bit of water, or perhaps a flooded field, and then a couple of birds on the corner. Same motif on this one as well, so they are identical. And then on the top you have 4 of these sort of floral accents going around into where the salt and pepper comes from. In this case, 3 holes for your pepper and 2 for salt. And then there's even a little blue sort of patterned accents on the handles, and then going around to the back, the most beautiful floral detail. So they also say Holland, so this is really a piece that is a nod to the location, and it has this beautiful Delft blue artistry, hand-painted details, and such a whimsical scene here as well. And then, you know, when you've got the little handles, you just pour on the flavor. It's so cute. And then these have fairly large rubber stoppers as well, so you can fit a good amount of salt and pepper in these, so you're not going to have to keep refilling. But now the next ones, you're not going to fit in at quite as much salt and pepper, but how cute is this? We have a set of salt and pepper clogs. Now, these aren't shoes that you wear. These are shoes for salt and pepper on your table. And, well, that's the wrong configuration. There we go. So you have 1, 2, 3, 3 for your salt and 2 for pepper. But in this case, you know, I guess because these are from Holland, they're going to do a little bit more for the salt intake versus a different. And that's why you've got 3 for salt and 2 for pepper. But it might be a little confusing if you wanted to switch, because these do have a indicator on them. So P for pepper, S for salt. So you might as well stick with how they're labeled. But you've got the beautiful clogs, and you can see the sort of maker's mark in here where it's mentioning Delft's blue, and it says Holland, and then the little crown on the top as well. So that's how you know that these are authenticated. So these are authentic Delft blue salt and pepper shaker clogs. I love the fact that these can be on your table, and someone will say, can you pass me the salt and pepper? And then you say sure, and you clog them right over. You could do a little traditional dance. I don't really know how, but you know, so that adds a lot of fun and whimsy, and a reason why I'd want to have this pair out at least a few times during the year. Yeah, so you got your salt and pepper shoes, and then these also have a, you know, similar motif in the beautiful Delft's blue, where you've got a windmill, and the windmill blades go all the way up to the top, and then these sort of almost stitch accents here, where it's 10. Let me make sure it's not 11 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, and then the side says Holland as well. So look at that. again, there's a lot of good configurations for, you know, a Dutch clog salt and pepper shaker. You could get crazy with it and no, don't do that. I like the orientation where you've got the proper shoe on the proper foot. I guess you could do heel to heel, staggered like so, or wrong feet. You ever put your shoes on the wrong foot? It's so embarrassing. Not that I've gone out of the house like that, but it happens every once in a while. But I think this is the right way to do it. How cute is that? Okay, well this is probably my favorite set. Wait, no, it's the couple. Wait, actually we haven't gotten to it yet. Next up, these are very beautiful and robust salt and pepper shakers. Now, we've had a number of sort of eggs on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network before. You'd think, why didn't I see these on the eggs? Well, they're not exactly an egg. It just alludes to an egg shape, right? So with these we've got, honestly, I think one of the most beautiful and intricate hand-painted designs here. That the epitome of the Delft's Blue. The beautiful flowers, intricate details, lots of gorgeous blue colors and tones in here. And then it's identical on the other pepper shaker. So the back, not a lot going on. It does look like a hard-boiled egg there, but you turn them to the front and it's so beautiful. Now, these are fairly large, so they are going to hold quite a bit of salt and pepper for you. And in this case, you've got 5. You've got 5 holes on the top for both your salt and pepper. So really it's up to you. Now, if these were on your tabletop and they've got identical designs, identical number of holes, how are you going to know which is which? Well, it's hard to see, but I think these holes are slightly bigger. I can't be sure though. So, you know what I would do? To be on the safe side, I would always put the salt to my right and the pepper to my left. Or you just pour a little bit in your hand first. It's really not a big deal. And that way you know what's what. So there's that. Then, next up we have, okay, I think these really are my favorite in the set. How could they not be? We're looking at 2 Delft's Blue frogs. Now, we've had a frog before on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network, and it was Neil. These are non-name brand frogs, but they are so beautiful. So you can see this frog has a gorgeous shiny white ceramic finish, and then the signature Delft's Blue design with whimsical polka dots on the legs, a fun little mouth, 2 expressive eyes, but not too expressive, and then lots of gorgeous detailed floral embellishments that have been painted on there. Now, I love the spots on these frogs. I think that really sets it apart, because when I'm thinking about a frog, I'm thinking about spots, toads, you know, different markings on them, which make them easy to identify what kind of amphibian is this. But in this case, these 2 are Delft's Blue frogs. They don't exist anywhere, you know, in nature, but they can exist on your dinner table as salt pepper shakers. Now, configuration-wise, look at them looking at each other. It's like they're having a frog staring contest, right? I could see it being a situation where I'm staring at the frogs, then the frogs are having a staring contest. And, you know, not a lot of dinner gets eaten because we're all just frozen. But you know what I mean. They could be kissing. You know, I love it when salt and pepper shakers can kiss. You know, going back to these 2, I think these 2 are a bit too rotund to kiss. You'd have to lean them in for a smooch, right? But these 2 can kiss, right? little frog kisses. But you know, frogs with their long tongues, they could probably kiss from over here. You know what I mean? Anyways, and then they could also be kind of at a 45-degree angle, looking either direction. Sturdy bases. Or rump to rump, looking at either direction. Or perhaps, you know, one this way, one that way. Either way, these frogs are a must-have for your salt and pepper collection. Look at that face. So, you know, if for no other reason you get this collection, I think one, it's because you're going to want to have these frogs. But I can see where you might have a frog lover in your life and you get the set, you gift some of the other ones, but then you keep the frogs for yourself, or vice versa. Yes, so all the fun of an amphibian on your tablescape, but without the shrieks. Next up. Oh. Okay, speaking of rotund, these pigs, you might say, oh, Sleepy Keys Tingle Network, where in the heck were these swines when you had your Pig and Out collection? That's because these are Delft's Blue pigs. Look at that. These pigs have so much class. I don't even think of a farm. I think of elegance. I think of beautiful Dutch whimsy when I think of these Delft's Blue pigs. They're almost as cute as piglets. Again, we've got beautiful noses and not too expressive eyes, but somewhat expressive. The little shading in the ears, which really adds to the depth. And on one side, you have a beautiful windmill, very important in a Delft's Blue piece. And on the other side, gorgeous, beautiful floral pattern here with 22 sort of floral flourishes, and then the big flower in the middle. But look at this windmill. This one in particular, you can really see the wind. They've added detail in such a way that you've got the actual windmill itself, but then swirling wind that is propelling those blades of the actual windmill to do its milling. Now, I love a snoot to snoot configuration. You might be wondering, well, where does the salt and pepper come from? We've got one hole in this snout for your salt and two in this snout for your pepper. So, how fun would that be? And it's almost like they're smiling. They're somewhat expressive. There's just this little dimple in these pig cheeks, which is the cutest thing I've ever seen. But look at that. Snout to snout. On your tabletop. Very cute. So much whimsy. And I really like how in that configuration you can see both the windmill imagery and the flower. Maybe they're just kind of cheek to cheek. Oh, that's very cute. Sturdy base. Look at that. They got feet. And the feet are low to the ground, so these aren't going to topple over. Very important. Maybe if we just did rump roast. Little tails. So cute. These are going to be a hit on any table, any time of year. And the fact that they've got the beautiful white ceramic Delft's Blue pattern really makes them versatile for any tablescape that you might have. On the bottom, they've got the screw rubber stopper, so these are really going to stay in place. Probably one of the sturdiest of salt and pepper shakers that we have in our collection. Now, this is a bit of a repeat that you've seen on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network before, but we had to include the windmills in this collection because they are the epitome of Delft's blue, beautiful Dutch design, and you know, the fun and whimsy of a windmill. So with these, you have working windmill blades. Look at that. That's really what makes these probably the most fun in this collection. Each one just has one hole, so you can put salt or pepper in either one, doesn't matter. You just have to remember which one. Now, the back, you can see that these are Delft's blue, and they have been hand painted, and they've got, yeah, the quality maker's mark on the back there. And then the front, each of these blades has honestly so much detail. You can almost see the wooden slats based on how they've been shaded. We have these gorgeous blue windmill tops and rubber stoppers on the bottom, and a nice base that kind of fans out, just like an actual windmill would. So you can swing these around and not worry about the windmills toppling over. Now, let's just go through, recap what we've got in this a really spectacular 7-piece Delft's blue set. So, number one are these gorgeous windmills. We've seen them before, very popular on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. And then we have the frogs, definitely my favorite, where you get to pour on the flavor right out of this little frog nose. How cute is that? And then we have our couple, the cutest couple that we've had on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. One of the cutest, at least. And then we have the clogs. Gotta put the right shoe on the right foot. Salt and pepper clogs. And then the beautiful little pitchers here, little maybe milk bottle, I don't know. But the handled salt and pepper shakers. And then these lovely blue and white Delft's blue large salt and pepper shakers. And last but not least, my personal favorite after the frogs are these adorable pigs. I think they're really a standout in this set. Now, so beautiful. All right, Barbara's telling me that we have a call. Is that right? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, this is Helen calling from Hartford. Now, this is such a beautiful set. I love Delft's blue. I already have a number of Delft's blue plates on display in my home, but I don't need this many salt and pepper shakers. But you know what I'm going to do? I am going to gift these to my 3 sisters, but I'm going to keep the clogs for myself because I love Dutch clogs, and I don't have a pair of Dutch clogs.
Well, that's a mighty smart idea you've got there.
So I really love this set. Thank you.
Great. Well, we love to hear it. Thank you. Well, that's it. This is your Delft's Blue beautiful collection available on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network today for the low price of $29.99. If you call within the next 15 minutes, you are going to get this limited edition pig caddy. Now, look at that. The 2 pigs sit in this lovely red and white gingham basket, rather cloth, and then a gingham basket. So that can sit upon your table in such a fun and whimsical way. Look at that. They're just peeking out their little noses, their little snouts right over the side of that. So adorable. But only yours if you call in the next 15 minutes. Great. All right. Well, don't wait. We hope to hear from you soon. Welcome back to the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. We're back with another delightful salt and pepper shaker collection, and today we are featuring 3 sets of pig-themed salt and pepper shakers. This pigging out pig-themed salt and pepper shaker collection can be yours today for the low price of $15.99. Now, I think that these salt and pepper shakers are going to huff, puff, and blow you away. So let me take you through each individual set here to show you a little bit more detail about each one of these delightful pig-themed salt and pepper shakers. Starting off with our first set, and probably one of the most fanciful pigs that we've ever had on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. Now, these are a couple of delightful porcelain pigs, and you can see how you might want to save these for a special occasion because they are dressed up for the ball. We have a little couple here, a little salt and pepper shaker pig couple, and they're a little lifelike. I believe the phrase is anthropomorphic because these pigs are wearing a human clothes and standing. So what we have here is a delightful little lady pig. She's got a dress on, which she's kind of hiked up as if to be ready to cut a rug and dance the night away. It's accented with this lovely yellow color detail, and then a little bit of black for the hooves, a little black on the snout, and expressive eyes, and a delightful yellow bow. The fellow over here, he is also dressed to the nines, where he looks to be wearing a sort of little smock top with a little bow tie, and going around to the back, actually it looks like it's a pair of overalls that are crossed in the back there. And he's got a little tiny tail showing in the back of his pantaloons. So here's something I haven't seen before on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network, and that is, we usually have our indicators, who's salt and who's pepper. In this case, we have a 2-hole top on this little lady pig, and then a 2-hole top on the fella as well. Now, I love this because now it opens up the possibility for you to then, choose who's going to be who. Is a lady pig more like the pepper, or is the fellow more like the pepper? Is she sashaying with the salt, or is he poised to give you pepper? It's up to you, folks. Either way, if once you do choose, I would keep it consistent just so you don't get confused. Now, in terms of another thing that makes this a special set, you might think, why didn't I include this in the Great American Road Trip? And that is because on the back of the lady pig, there's a banner that reads "Souvenir of Galveston, Texas." So these pigs are Texas pigs, ready to barbecue or dance the night away. And what makes it so fun that they're in these little dancing outfits is how you can configure them on your table. So my first thought is they could be dancing. Here they are, just spinning around your tabletop, or they could be looking either way, or it could be a situation where someone says, "Pass me the salt and pepper," and you have them do-si-do, and then you hand it off, right? That's what it looks like to me. Either way, now, one thing I am noticing about this set, these are probably some of the most expressive eyes outside of those Dachshunds I think we had a few weeks back. But the way that they are standing like people, but then also looking at you, it really adds a lot of emotion and drama to the tabletop. Is that right? So, Kevin, can you zoom in on? A gift these to a friend, just because you don't want to feel guilty. They're so cute. Now, so, well, I think that's it for this first set here. So these are the delightful porcelain pigs. Doesn't get much cuter than that. Beautiful color, great craftsmanship, lovely details painted in there. And then, oh gosh, I didn't even talk about how the little ears are pink too. So cute. Next up, we have a couple of adorable sleepy hogs. Look at that. Now, sure, we've had, you know, a lot of fun pigs on here. Ones that look like cartoons, ones that look like people. But, you know, this is the most realistic set of salt and pepper shakers I think we've had. To me, this looks like a small sculpture that would be sitting atop my table. So, these sets right here, you know what I'm going to say first, folks. I love the sturdy base. Because they're laying down, they're not sliding around on your table. They're not toppling over, spilling salt and pepper everywhere. But you can see how these are very sleepy pigs. I'm looking at these two, and I think, oh gosh, maybe I should grab a napkin and tuck these two in. Maybe I should, you know, pull a little couple of marshmallows out of the fluff dessert and let him rest his head on that, and then tuck him in with a little napkin and just listen to them go honk shoo throughout the rest of dinner, or oink shoo, because they're pigs. These two are so cute though. It's just, you know, delightful to have two very realistic sweet hogs that will serve up your salt and pepper. Now, it's a different kind of pour than maybe you're used to with some of the other sets that we've had on Sleepy Keys here, where you're having to tip over the whole pig to get that salt or pepper out. Now, right here, I've got the salt this time. We can see we've got the 2-hole versus the 3-hole for the pepper here, and underneath we are dealing with rubber stoppers. So very easy refill right underneath these delightful, realistic looking pigs. Here's what makes them look so realistic too. We can see the shading is immaculate. We've got a very, you know, realistic pig tone color. It's not quite pink, it's a little tan, a little white. But then the snout is a wonderful brown going into these sleepy, closed little eyes. And then some shading in the ears. Down over to this backside haunch into a delightful little pigtail. Now, I believe these are identical. So really your configurations are a little bit more limited that way, you know, outside of stacking them atop each other or something. I don't know, that doesn't look right. Maybe like that. Yeah, so these two pigs have a lot of realistic details, of beautiful shape, and someone might think that they are, I don't know, just some whimsical table toppers that you have for decoration because it looks like a beautiful figurine. So, I think with these rubber stoppers. Now I think this is a ceramic. The little dancing ones before were a porcelain, but I can feel that sort of grit. But you know what's good about having that not a glossy finish on your salt and pepper shaker? It's not slippery. You're not going to have it slip out of your hands because it's a little bit more coarse. So you're not going to accidentally, oops, knock over the entire salt and pepper container, spilling salt everywhere. So beautiful. Actually, I think I'd have them snout to snout. Look at that. That's so cute. I feel like they're plotting. I don't know. Next up we have, this is a return back to the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network with the most beautiful porcelain pigs. Now that first set was porcelain, but they were kind of more of a yellow and grayish color with pink accents. But these are your traditional adorable pink piglets, right? And that's why I wanted to bring them back today, because I think you've got your realistic pigs in this set, you've got your fun dancing pigs, but where's the whimsy? Obviously in the dancing pigs, but piglets are really where it's at. Look at that. Now, what I think I love about these the most is the irregularity in the color between the two, and then what will then help you to remember which one's salt and which one is pepper. So this is our lighter pink pig, and this one's a little bit darker. So this is your pepper. You can see there's 3 holes in this pig's snout. So he's gonna pour on the pepper. I don't know, and you can set them up however you like in the caddy. And then salt here, just the 2 holes in the snout. And actually that makes it look pretty realistic when you think about it, having the 2 holes. But you just, this is a different kind of rubber stopper. There's actually some little edges here that help you to get a grip when you do need to pop off that stopper to refill the salt or pepper. But yes, these are these are porcelain, and they are by Global, which is a great name for quality. And the little feet help to make it sturdy in the caddy. As you know, I do love a caddy. Caddy's well made as well. It has some authenticators on the back, 1984, and I think it reads T71 out of 1 here. So this is a really unique set that you're only going to find on the Sleepy Keys Tingle Network. So I did want to bring these back, and again, configuring these. Look, you can do tail to tail here, so everyone can get a look at how cute these snouts are on your dinner table or kitchen table, right? Tail to tail, sorry, not snout to snout. Snout to snout would be this. And it actually doesn't quite fit for snout to snout, so maybe at a 45-degree angle. There we go. I'm not wowed by that. I think I want to do one facing forward and one facing back. That way everyone has equal viewing of how cute these faces are on your table. I just love it. How gorgeous. So it really opens up a lot of actual inspiration for your tablescape too, because I'm thinking, you can just have these on your table for, everyday usage, but maybe you're having a little luncheon and you want to make it really special for your company. What you can do is use your imagination, but you go outside and maybe you grab a couple pieces of hay or grasses, and you put them in a small pile on your table, and then you put the tray on top. Wouldn't that be cute? So it brings a little bit of the outdoors indoors. And maybe you don't have hay or grasses around, but you have, I don't know, some used popsicle sticks. And with the popsicle sticks, you could make a small fence. And then the fence could, be enclosing your little pigs so that they don't get out, right? Oh gosh, what else could you put on there? I don't know, maybe, oh, I know, you've got a little trough, and it's really just, oh, I don't know, just a leftover, jelly jar top or something, and then you put that out on the table, and then you put a little bit of water in it, and you say, oh, don't mind that, that's just for the pigs to drink from. No one's gonna think that's out of place. No, they're gonna think it's very original. Anyways, so wrapping up, again, this is also a big deal because we have 3 pieces here, 3 sets, and you're getting them for the low price of $15.99. Let's bring them back out there. You have your delightful porcelain dancers from Galveston, Texas. And then you have your very realistic sleepy time hogs, napping away, honk shoeing. And then, back by popular demand, the pink porcelain piglets that sit atop this wonderful sturdy tray on your table that really open up a lot of ideas for whimsical tablescaping that you could be doing. So, now, $15.99 is a good deal, so I don't know how long it's going to last. I feel like you're going to want to call soon because, these pigs are not going to last long, and you're going to want to have them in your collection. So, call soon. Sleepy Keys Tingle Network, the Piggin' Out 3-piece pig-themed salt and pepper collection.